Hello, the internet and people watching this 100 years in the future. Welcome to another episode of The Spit Take. My name's Jack O'Brien, and you've probably heard that real life isn't like the movies. Thanks to careful framing and apple boxes, actors appear 6 inches taller on screen than they are in reality. Guns are far more lively and harder to silence.
Let's move to something.
Without editing and sound design, every sex scene you've ever seen would be one long, continuous fart. There are some events that are so common as movie tropes and rare in reality, it's almost shocking to see how gloriously hard reality fails to live up to our expectations. When an action movie breaks out in front of these guys, they immediately turn into the Stalloniest of Schwarzeneggers, fighting the knife-wielding madman off and taking out the trash, Seagal style. Action movies prepared them for that part. Where it gets tricky is how to celebrate in the silent aftermath of the most awesome thing they have and presumably will ever do. Movies are mixed on the proper way to celebrate that. There's the standard near-inhuman levels of stoicism, like walking away from a car explosion in slow motion with your bro while making sure not to touch hands, because that'd be weird. But being all no big whoop seems kind of unnatural and honestly a little homophobic. Your veins are pumping nature's blue meth, testosterone and adrenaline. Your biggest concern is avoiding what your grandpa calls sissy behavior, or those things lonely men did for each other in the war that your grandma can never understand. Confusingly, action movies greet more everyday achievements like completing another successful run on the beach or congratulating each other for having cool arms, with excessive celebrations that are indistinguishable from the 15 seconds immediately before hardcore gay porn devolves into boners jamming into boners, I think is how it's done.
No, Jack, it's not how it's done.
Well, what's that slapping sound then? Anyway, movies have sent these guys mixed messages, and you can see every single one of them fighting for primacy in the awkward glory of their celebration. It's like every quarterback's failed touchdown celebration and every Christmas morning Super Nintendo freakout combined in one failed high five. And that is the true white man's burden, to do awesome stuff infrequently enough to have no coherent exit strategy. So they do what we've been doing for years when asked to dance: spaz the f*** out. Clinging to the roof of a speeding car in movies is how you let people know that you mean business. Now, whether your business is time travel action abortions, or stopping Nazis from delivering a mythical superweapon to Adolf Hitler, or being a teen wolf, you don't jump on top of a speeding car and ride it into traffic unless you plan on dangle fighting your way inside. We're doing a Beach Boys themed men's gymnastics floor routine. Teen Wolf is really f***ing this up for me. But as it turns out, most cars don't have convenient rooftop handlebars in case an action movie breaks out.
Other drivers were slowing down too, watching anxiously to see what would happen.
Man, every aspect of that guy's body language is just incorrect. First, he's just kind of slouching back like he's waiting for a chance to voice a polite complaint about the trunk's lack of seatbelts.
He was just going like this on the back of the car, laying back, you know, he was just laying back on the car, and we're like, that's like 50 miles an hour.
It must just be really hard to steady yourself in that position without looking like you're trying to get up from a reclining chair with a case of explosive diarrhea.
The Cruz family says they saw the man on the back of the car break the back windshield and climb inside. They say a woman was driving the car with a child in a car seat. Authorities got several calls, but troopers say by the time they arrived, the car was gone, and right now, they don't have much to go on.
And that's how little real cops want to do with dangling from the top of a speeding car.
Authorities think the driver and person on the back of the car know each other, but they can't be sure.
They were just like, they probably know each other. If it's a real problem, it'll escalate to a shootout at the dockyard or a construction site by the climax. We don't want to get in the way of the plot. In both Rise and Dawn of the Planets of the Apes, when the monkeys finally decide they've had it with our bullshit, it's a foregone conclusion that we're doomed. It helps that San Francisco inexplicably has just a hopeless amount of monkeys, but we let it slide because deep down we all know it's only a matter of time. Animals are gonna get tired of having their neighborhoods chopped down and their friends run over by our speeding nature submarines and rise up like a bunch of furry Spartacuses. Spartaci? Spartaci? I don't think that word was ever meant to be plural. Point being, in movies, animal uprisings are awesome and frightening. And in reality, they're actually still sort of terrifying, but adorable as f***. You'd think there'd be no such thing as a hopeless amount of rabbits, and you might still think that after watching this video of an island in Japan known as Rabbit Island, because what the f else would you call that? Here's what those terrifying videos of tsunamis would look like if the tsunami was made of ducks. Adorable, right? But what have we really learned? Nature is more than capable of putting together an overwhelming swarm of animals, just a bit confused when it comes to the right deployment strategy. That is, unless they're only letting us see the terrifying military drills of their most adorable animals. Sure, anchovies aren't the most threatening sea creature that could swarm up from the depths, but there's something unnerving about how they politely grant those divers a wide berth while completely encircling them with their eerily opaque and perfectly coordinated swarm. It's almost like there's an anchovy down there shouting, "Hold! Hold!" When the police raid a place in the movies, 37 people end up getting punched into body casts, there's a tense firefight in a drug lab, somebody gets thrown out a window, Jeff Daniels explodes, and everything is pure chaos. You'll notice a distinct lack of Jeff Daniels explosions as a SWAT team bursts in to break up a 25-year-old man's game of Counter-Strike.
I think we're getting swatted.
Put your hands up! Put your hands up! Get on the ground! Get on the ground!
There's one in the corner.
This is actually a common prank among online gamers called swatting. Basically, disgruntled gamers or viewers with a damaged understanding of what constitutes a friendly joke call in a bomb threat or some other high-level security risk, and the SWAT team shows up and assaults the person they're watching play video games in real time. Maybe even accidentally shoot them, who knows? The fact that I know that has not enriched my life in any meaningful way, nor do I suspect it will enrich yours, but it must be included for the record-setting speed these cops go from, "Woo, we're coming in hot, boys," expecting bombs or ninjas or Osama bin Laden, who knows, we've seen movies, it's gonna be awesome, to just completely out of their element and confused and vaguely aware that there's a 12-year-old somewhere just laughing his ass off at them. Car chases are like the runway models of movie tropes. Cool in theory, fun to look at, but you're always kind of surprised when they're not boring and at least a little dumb. Now, occasionally a bat tumbler or bullet time comes along and shakes things up, but for the most part, you have to drive a tank out of an exploding plane or give Michael Bay a Humvee in San Francisco just to feel alive. And both of those are very stupid things to do. Russia, staying true to their national policy of not giving one hammered shit what the rest of the world thinks, has produced a car chase that manages to up the ante for all future movie car chases while failing to contain one instance of anything traditionally regarded as cool. Perhaps the best part of this video is the complete lack of context for what we're even seeing. I mean, we have no idea why this guy is pursuing this minivan with the single-minded purpose of a police detective chasing his partner's killer. We arrive on the scene of a crime in progress in a third car, long after both parties have decided to settle this thing like gentlemen who are willing to kill other people with their cars. After thousands of movie car chases, it's actually kind of illuminating to see one where nobody can answer the two questions that I would probably have in a car chase. What do you do if the guy being chased keeps stopping and then speeding off and you don't want to dent your car? And more importantly, how do you win a car chase? In movies, the hero always manages to just make the bad guy lose control of his car over a cliff or flip into a paddy wagon or whatever's most dramatically convenient. In reality, you drive like Bullet for 5 miles only to slip zanily off a luxury family car and get beaten with a shovel. To Russians, it's probably just another hilariously ineffective yet admirably persistent attempted vehicular homicide caught on video, and presumably aired on the popular Russian TV show of the same name.
Thanks for watching whatever that was. Hope you liked it. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and click like if you didn't know that that was a possibility. And in the comments, if you could list maybe your 10 favorite videos from Cracked, and we'll make a playlist for you. I'm sorry, that's okay.